it's your boy, D Wats. And today we're here to check out top 10 of times where shocking betrayals made no sense. Now, there's been times where that has happened. Like, for example, Money in the Bank when Shayna Baszler attacked Ronda Rousey. I didn't see that happening. I didn't expect it to happen, and it didn't make any sense. I was all in for it. I was ready to see what they was going with. So, if you guys want to watch the regular video, the links come in the description down below. It is by partsFUNknown. Make sure you go check the master up over there. Appreciate all the love and support. Let's get right in it.
There have been a bunch of terrible heel turns over the years, none more catastrophic for the wrestling business than Stone Cold Steve Austin in 2001. However, as poorly timed and as industry buggering that turn was, it did make sense. Austin had been sidelined for a year after being hit and ran, and he'd been unable to climb back to the top of the mountain on his own. He'd seen guys like The Rock take his place at the top, and his obsession to be the WWF champion meant that he turned to the only person he knew was corrupt enough and powerful enough to make sure that happened. It shocked people, absolutely, but there was enough groundwork done so that people understood it. And in storytelling, that's the goal. Serving up well foreshadowed surprises so that people don't feel like fools for investing their time watching. These heel turns are not that. These are heel turns that will make you question your patience, your sanity, and your grip on the basic mechanics of wrestling. I'm Luke, hailing from partsFUNknown, and here are 10 WWE betrayals that made zero sense. Let me paint you a picture. You've completed all of TV and watched all the wrestling content from that past week. You've even watched all the great Wrestle Talk and partsFUNknown videos, and you've just completed Final Fantasy VII for the 7th time this year, and you're sat there alone in your pants with ice cream dripping down your chin, wishing there were ways to break out of the confines of your region's streaming services and experience something new. Well, if that sounds like me, you, then have I got the solution for you. And we call this fine vessel Surfshark VPN. Surfshark VPN is an online tool that allows you to surf the web without the constant fear of someone repo manning your personal data right from under your nose. With Surfshark VPN, you can Now, on with the list. Honorable mention. Why did Brock turn on Cody? No, seriously, someone tell me why though. Number 10. Shayna hates success. Well, this absolutely was not supposed to happen at this year's SummerSlam, and it shows. Ronda and Shayna had been subtly working a storyline since the end of last year, with Ronda helping Shani Baz recapture that killer/vampire instinct with which she'd burst onto the main roster in 2020. Fans could see where it was going, and it made a bunch of sense. Tag for a while, capture the gold, build up the division, lose the belts after around 6 months, betrayal, deeply personal feud for WrestleMania, but Ronnie's off after SummerSlam, so whoops, gotta do it all now, at a point in the storyline where it made no sense for Shayna to turn. She'd been on a decline in her career. Ronda stepped in, now Shayna was a champion with her friend, things were good, and that's when she batters her friend because she made wrestling no fun anymore? Sure, Jan, not her fault obviously, but even WWE knows this was a Franken story that was rushed to the point that it broke our interest. Number 9, Lita breaks out of an abusive relationship, is the villain. Forgive me if we've said this before, but the ruthless aggression was really weird. Vince turned into an oak tree and feuded with God. Eugene was a thing, more on him later. And then there's this. In 2005, Lita turned heel on her husband Kane and aligned with Edge, and her heel turn earned her the scorn of announcers and the fans, JR calling her a Jezebel among other things. I guess the heel turn made kind of sense in a wrestling soap opera way, but it made no sense from a reality perspective given the previous year of Lita's life. Strap in, folks. In 2004, Kane abducted and impregnated Lita against her will. It was a rape storyline. It was horrible. Matt Hardy tried to save her, but at SummerSlam lost a match, which meant Lita was forced to marry Kane. Wrestling. Lita had a miscarriage, which as we all know was not Snitsky's fault, meaning that Lita went through sexual assault and a miscarriage storyline in the same year before Matt Hardy, currently out injured, revealed to the world that Lita and Edge had a real-life affair and got fired for his troubles, but the affair was now public and everyone took the side of the guy who got fired. So fans turned on Lita, so WWE turned her heel on the man who abducted and got her pregnant like a horror movie villain. She escaped Kane's clutches, aligned with someone she actually wanted to have sex with, and everyone in production treated her like scum for doing so. Yuck, 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 hate that. Maybe Ollie was right. This was worse than the Katie Vick story. And hey, speaking of Edge, number 8, Edge is kicked out of the Edge fan club. Baffling. Like Lita, like Shayna, this is another shock swerve WWE executed as a way to compensate for real life intruding into their kayfabe. Edge was going through a midlife crisis at the time. Instead of starting a band or wearing Hawaiian shirts, he created a hot topic cult that once had a match that ended by the lights being turned off. It's a common phase that a lot of men go through. I opted for the Hawaiian shirts. The Judgment Day formed by Edge turning heel on AJ Styles, and it didn't make a bunch of sense. Not sure why feuding with AJ made Edge turn into a combination of Blade and Shao Kahn, but whatever. But what made no sense was Edge being abruptly kicked out of the group 2 months after he put them together. Why did WWE do this thing? Because Cody went and got hurt and Raw was short on top babyfaces. They tried to explain it away, and it was because Edge thought that he was the leader and this group shouldn't have leaders, but then Vince sort of became the leader, and that was all very confusing and very unsatisfying. It's like Grimace kicking Ronald McDonald out of McDonald's, complete with all the obnoxious purple. Took Judgment Day a long time to crawl out from under that booking mess, although now I really wonder what a Judgment Day shake tastes like. Probably eyeliner. Number 7, forget.
Yeah, Finn Balor as the leader has not been doing very good. Everyone else has gold except for him. And to be honest, I thought he was gonna win the World Heavyweight title at SummerSlam. And it would make sense. It would make sense for this whole storyline if he won at SummerSlam like he did 6 years ago. 6, 5, 7. It was 7. The reason why I remember it being 7 is I remember that that little paint he had on his shoulder said 7.
Given via lesbian treachery. A good old-fashioned sibling fight. This had only really worked for WWE once, when Bret and Owen had their year-long feud in 1994. Other attempts to recreate it ended in failure. Edge vs Christian was fun, but they aren't actually brothers. Sorry to drop that bombshell. Matt and Jeff Hardy was too silly, we'll get to that. And then there's the Bella Twins, who feuded in 2014, and sweet Jerry Springer was it bad. Doesn't help that the Bellas...
Oh, Jerry Springer was on WWE? Yo, I didn't know. I probably did see it and had no idea who he was. Man, R.I.P. Jerry, bro.
About as good as acting as I am at laying eggs. Not very good, and when I try it causes a lot of embarrassment for everyone in the vicinity. Nikki turned heel on Brie at SummerSlam, helping Steph beat her in a surprisingly good match. Then Nikki screamed in Brie's face that she wished he died in the womb, a promo that will live in infamy, before winning her indentured servitude in a match. Just another fun time that WWE dodged the Emancipation Proclamation. A month of humiliation ensued for Brie before Survivor Series, where, for no reason at all, Brie turned heel on AJ, kissed her, and helped her intensely abusive sister win the Divas title. Never explained, and the best part is, the match between Steph and Brie that started this whole thing was built around Daniel Bryan, but when Brie turned and Bryan was on Raw the next night, never mentioned. WWE is held together with packing tape. Number 6, Taker has a great and sincere appreciation for Vince's ass. Respect. The one thing that turned CM Punk from beloved babyface WWE champion to remarkable heel WWE champion. However, when Punk turned, he had been disrespected. The Rock had shown up to upstage him in the main event of Raw 1000, so he acted rashly, but it makes sense. In late 2001, Blow Up the Vampire Slayer turned, and it made none of the sense. Now, I just want to add here that I quite like this heel turn, because the way that Taker delivers the heel turn line really makes me laugh, but I mean, it makes no sense and it is silly, but it is a bit funny. You see, Vince had just kicked out the Coalition of Chaos from WWE, and he'd let all of that power go to his ass, which he was whipping around and making people kiss because, well, he's Vince. He wanted Jim Ross to kiss his ass. Sure, one of the most loyal voices he had throughout the entire invasion, okay. And when JR refused, out came The Undertaker. Asked if JR wanted to kiss Vince's ass, JR responded with a reasonable, no thank you, and Taker asked, is it because you think you're better than me? And then he decks him. The American Badass, the Dead Man, the Phenom, insecure that Jim Ross, good old Jim Ross, was getting ideas above his station. He may be big evil, but he has big feelings. Really, this was done because with the alliance gone, WWF now had no top heel, so turn, take a turn, nonsense. Speaking of JR though, number 5, JR's weird friend. This still doesn't make any sense. In wrestling, there are only a few ideas that are always bad. Champions entering first, the Great Khali in your main event, and turning Jim Ross heel. WWE have actually tried it twice, and both times it failed.
Oh no. Jim Ross is good being the support of the baby faces. He is good at doing it. His energy makes everyone love it. Jerry Lawler, Jerry Lawler is funny when he goes for the heels, but it's just that you can't make Jim Ross become a evil commentator. He has to be a babyface commentator. He has I don't know how to explain it, but y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean.
Failed. It failed in 99 when JR kicked Michael Cole in the balls and everyone cheered, and it failed even harder in 1996 when JR came out on Raw, introduced fake Diesel and fake Razor Ramon, recasting the gimmicks after Hall and Nash left for WCW, screaming at Vince that it's a good idea, then going on long work-shoot tirades against the entire company, and especially Vince, which was made all the more confusing because Vince hadn't yet been officially outed as the top guy in charge. In this 1996 kayfabe world, Vince was merely an announcer and was as confused as everyone else when good old JR started going heatstroke crazy on live TV, pointing at two men who were clearly not Hall and Nash and screaming, "That's Hall and Nash! Everyone shut up, I hate this company!" It lasted mere weeks, but it was a few weeks too long. No one wants to boo this man. Stop trying to make me hate my childhood. Number 4, Matt Hardy, dog murderer. Man, I don't know. Maybe the whole Lita saga drove Matt Hardy crazy. Maybe the ECW championship contained mercury. Maybe wrestling is just dumb, but fans have never really wanted to boo the Hardy Boys or watch them fight. Didn't want to watch them fight when Matt first turned heel on Jeff in 2001 because of emotional problems. Didn't want to see them fight in 2009 when Matt turned on Jeff and repeatedly tried to kill him, first by chucking him down the stairs, then by running his car off the road, then with his own pyrotechnics like he's in a Hitman game, and also setting a fire that killed Jeff's dog. Are you not sports entertained? It's the kind of cartoonish super villainy that feels utterly weightless and unconvincing. I mean, he killed his own brother's dog because he was WWE champion. Pardon what? Sorry? At least he didn't make him eat the dog, I suppose. Reportedly, this wasn't supposed to be Matt, but rather a returning Christian who just left TNA. But this got leaked to the dirt sheets, and Vince blew a gasket and decided the best way out of the situation is to make the storyline stupid. You sure showed those dirt sheets, Vince. Number 3, Rikishi.
The people. I did it.
People?
I did it. I did it for The Rock. I did it for the people.
Murderer. Another day, another nightmare for WWE's Human Resource Department. At Survivor Series 1999, Steve Austin was written off WWE programming so that he could get neck surgery. The method they chose was a mysterious hit and run. I can't possibly solve this mystery, can you? WWE asked, pointing a finger directly at us. Oh, no, it was Triple H. You know, because he lured Austin into the parking lot, and he had the most to gain in Austin's absence, and, in fact, did gain the most in Austin's absence, plus he was the top heel, so that would add up. Oh, said WWE, visibly disappointed. We don't mind being right, said the fans. It makes the most sense. Well, who says you are right? Said WWE, desperately scanning the room for someone else. It was him! Rikishi? Asked the fans, slightly puzzled. The man who danced and shaked his ass and never had a care in the world? Yeah, said WWE. Bet you're surprised, aren't you? I mean, I guess, said the fans, now visibly uncomfortable. Why? Said WWE, clearly scanning the room for another visual aid to get them out of this mess. He did it for The Rock. Sure, why not? I mean, are you sure it wasn't Triple H? Asked the fans. No, said WWE. You, Rikishi is an attempted murderer and it was hiding in plain sight. There ain't no Triple H and there never was. You'll be surprised to hear that this was greeted with the same reception as a fart in a spacesuit. No one bought Rikishi as this character, and a few weeks later, WWE revealed that the mastermind behind it all was in fact Triple H, and we never saw it coming. Number 2. Eugene. Eugene, the ruthless aggression idea of having a non-special needs wrestler pantomime as a special needs gimmick is an
Oh my god, you can't have this now. Yo, you can't have a gimmick like this nowadays. It's gonna be very
Evergreen, bad idea. And so, like night inevitably follows day, the prick keeps coming up on our list of bad ideas. If you were being charitable to WWE, you could argue that the creation of Eugene was an attempt to put a pure childlike character on TV that younger fans would grow to love through his whimsical antics and increase those fans' appreciation for people with special needs. That ability to be charitable to WWE ended in 2005 when Kurt Angle beat the piss out of him at SummerSlam in one of history's most uncomfortable matches, and ends even harder in 2006 when WWE turned Eugene heel, having the one character you could depend on in seeing the good in all people, having the one character who loved all things from wrestling's past team up with WWE legend Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and then having Eugene beat Duggan down after a loss before screaming "I'm special" over and over into a live mic. Once again, the award for not knowing what people want to see goes to Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And number one, Vince is the higher power. Okay, let's try and make sense of this. In 1999, The Undertaker formed the Ministry of Darkness, a prototype Judgment Day. Big bunch of goths who did all the goth things. Blood rituals, Taco Tuesday, abductions, hated their parent, claimed Cradle of Filth were a good band, that sort of thing. Undertaker led the faction, but was acting under the orders of a higher power, or as he once fumbled, the Hower Power. The Ministry feuded with Vince McMahon's corporation, going as far as tormenting Vince by burning his daughter Stephanie's teddy and then, perhaps slightly less evil, kidnapping Stephanie so Taker could marry her in an unholy union. Vince was so desperate for help that he asked his longtime enemy, Stone Cold Steve Austin, for help, even driving his son Shane away to the Ministry in doing so. Steve helped Vince, but he didn't do it for Vince. He did it because it was the right thing to do. But the question remains, who was the Hower Power? It was Vince! Son of a bitch!
I remember watching this clip. Oh man, Jim Ross was like, oh no.
It was him all along, and we were all...
It was me all along, Austin.
All made fools of. And we were made fools of for thinking that this would be good, because McMahon claims in story he did this because he wanted the WWF title of Stone Cold, despite the fact the higher power was mentioned before Austin won the title at Mania 15, which means that Vince put this whole plan into action, a plan that would involve kidnapping unwitting members of his own family and taking the belt off his guy. It is pure and undiluted, my first improv class bullshit. There's lots of rumors of who the Hower Power was going to be, from Jake the Snake Roberts to Christopher Daniels to the Jackal, now known to us today as Don Callis, but one thing is clear, Vince was not the plan from the outset, and that's because, like Hornswoggle after him, there was no answer when this story was started. Off with your J.J. Abrams bull. Well, that's our list, and we've got a bunch of them, so why not check out this one about the best wrestling matches under 5 minutes. I've been Luca.
Alright. Let me talk to you. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you guys want to watch the regular video. Don't leave comment description down below by partsFUNknown. Make sure you subscribe before you go over there. Their page, subscribe over there. On the road to 10 subscribers. I'm out. Hold up. I'm out.